The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
Excuse me! Taxi!
Come on, what are you doing? This is the 77 WABC minicast.
So I am back, and this is checking out this David Morenz thing. Okay, indicted by the Department of Justice. Now, do me a favor. Let's go ahead and hit the sound. Play for me. COVID Part 1, if you don't mind. COVID Part 1. You'll hear a congressman, then you should hear David Morenz. Go ahead.
Applied to that testimony, and if you made false statements, you could be subject to criminal prosecution. Do you recall that?
Turn your microphone on.
Your microphone's not on, I don't think. Yeah.
Do I keep it on or only when I talk?
Whenever you're talking, yes.
Okay. Sorry, I remember you telling me, I think what you're referring to is telling me that even though I wasn't under oath, I was bound to tell the truth. Is that what you said?
Yes, and that you could be subject to criminal prosecution.
Yes, you told me that.
Okay. Today you are under oath, and we will be comparing your statements today to those you gave previously. The majority of my questions today will be simple yes or no questions. On April 21, 2021, you wrote, "I can either send stuff to Tony Fauci on his private email or hand it to him at work or at his house." Did you ever send information related to COVID-19 to Dr. Fauci's personal email?
I don't remember if I did. I may have, but I certainly told him some things that he asked me to tell him about the situation with Peter.
Thank you. On May 13th, 2021, you wrote that you connected a reporter to Dr. Fauci via your secret back channel. What back channel did you have for Dr. Fauci?
Well, all these terms like secret back channel and the other one you mentioned were just jokes. Just, jokes that I made in dealing with Peter because he was under death threats and was very depressed. And it was sort of the group of people who were Peter's friends were trying to cheer him up by making snarky jokes and euphemisms that were, not true. But there was no back channel. The back channel was, the back channel to Tony was the same one that it applies to everybody. And may I say...
Which is? Which is what?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Tony does not want me to connect anybody to him directly. And with one exception, a couple of weeks ago, I never did. But the back channel was a regular channel within.
Well, this is a guy who's busted, who's caught. And I have it right here. A former National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases employee is facing indictment for his role in a scheme to evade Freedom of Information Act requests in connection with the COVID-19 research grants. David M. Morenz, 78 years old, of Chester, Maryland, is charged with conspiracy against the United States, destruction, alteration, or falsification of records in federal investigations, concealment, removal, or mutilation of records, and aiding and abetting. Morenz served as senior advisor in the National Office of Infectious Diseases from 2006 to 2022. These allegations represent a profound abuse of trust at a time when the American people needed it most during the height of the global pandemic, said the acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. As alleged in the indictment, Dr. Morenz and his co-conspirators deliberately concealed information and falsified records in an attempt to suppress alternative theories regarding the origins of COVID-19. Government officials have a solemn duty to provide honest, well-grounded facts and advice in service of the public interest, not to advance their own personal or ideological agendas. Now, we have COVID number 2 all ready to go. You're going to hear a lot of voices on this thing. People like Bill Gates, people like some other globalists, including David Morenz. Go ahead and hit it, please.
be an outbreak of another pandemic. It may be next year.
COVID was, for me, like a rehearsal.
We just need to mess around. There's a lot of lipid nanoparticles, and some are very self-assembly.
We know what's next. A new wave of pandemics is going to be upon us.
I'm convinced that there will be another pandemic.
Certainly we'll have one in the next 25 years.
There he is.
There's even some pathogens out there that we're watching over right now. And so I probably put bioterror, which is a really awful.
We are going to see a whole new age of biological weapons. We have to grapple with that reality because that is what is coming.
I can't go into all the details, but there are man-made threats that we were prepared to deal with.
When the next pandemic comes knocking, and it will, we must be ready to answer decisively.
We'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is will get attention this time.
Very sinister and hinting at something ominous, perhaps. I know the music is pretty kind of interesting. Yeah, COVID-19. It came from that lab in Wuhan. They laughed you off the stage, and they banned you or soft banned you on social media. When the public officials deliberately circumvent the law to hide their communications from the public, they undermine the public's trust and the integrity of our institutions. This was especially true during the COVID-19 pandemic when transparency was needed most, said the U.S. Attorney Kelly O'Hayes for the District of Maryland. Our office will continue to hold accountable those who seek to evade their legal obligations for their own gain. Public officials who disregard their legal obligations undermine the transparency that keeps our federal programs strong. All right. As senior advisor, Morenz counseled senior official number one, who I can almost guarantee is Fauci, and other senior level NIAID staff on senior level policies, develop recommendations and solutions for issues impacting the National Institute of Health, and wrote and edited manuscripts. Morenz also provided guidance and expertise to senior staff members on epidemiological studies, and issues related to infectious diseases, planning, and management. Additionally, Morenz gathered information from grantees and others in the scientific community to establish facts about the nature of COVID-19. Oh, yeah, we funded some of that stuff at the Wuhan lab. We did. We were writing. Now, we had it laundered through other groups, but we did. We funded that gosh damn research. Why? This enabled Morenz to understand NIH and NIAID's historical activities in coronavirus research, assist in formulating policy and procedures, and brief senior official number one so he could then relay information to the President of the United States, Congress, and the public. Now, according to the indictment, Morenz, co-conspirator number one and co-conspirator number two, and others conspired during the COVID-19 pandemic to defraud and commit several offenses against the United States. After NIH terminated co-conspirator number one's grant, NIH terminated the grant, understanding the risk of understanding the risk of bat coronavirus emergence. Based on allegations that COVID-19 emerged from the Wuhan Institute of Virology in Wuhan, China, NIAID awarded the grant to company number one and co-conspirator one, who made a subaward to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Following the termination, Morenz and co-conspirator two pledged to help co-conspirator one restore the termination of the bat coronavirus grant and counter the narrative that COVID-19 leaked from a lab. They wanted to restore the grant? In anticipation of their communications and that they would be requested through FOIA, Morenz and co-conspirator number one and co-conspirator number two agreed in writing to intentionally hide from public view their communications by corresponding using Morenz's personal Gmail account rather than his official NIH email account. Now, if that sounds like quibbling to you, it's not. It's not. These guys are being paid by the public. They're using public facilities. They must use public systems because all of this is for us. And there will come a day when we want to see their work. If you want to talk about private stuff unrelated to work, have at it. That's what you use your Gmail for. Additionally, the indictment further alleges that Morenz and co-conspirator one conspired to pay illegal gratuities. The indictment states that co-conspirator number one gifted Morenz wine for his behind-the-scenes shenanigans. and arranged for its delivery to Marenz's residence in Maryland. Marenz then allegedly identified an official act that he could perform to deserve the gift, which was a scientific commentary in a prominent medical journal advocating that COVID-19 had natural origins. The indictment further alleges that co-conspirator number one suggested he would provide Marenz with additional things of value, including meals at Michelin-starred restaurants in Paris, New York, and Washington. If convicted, Marenz faces a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison for conspiracy against the United States, a maximum of penalty of 20 years in prison for each count of destruction, alteration, and falsification of records. Actual sentences for federal crimes are typically less than the maximum penalties. A federal judge determines sentencing after considering U.S. sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors. An indictment is not a finding of guilt. Individuals charged by indictment are presumed innocent until proven guilty by a reasonable doubt, beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. Wow. Well, this is beautiful. I've been waiting for it, and here it is. I almost forgot about it. COVID-19. Wow. What they put us through. And the idea that they were conspiring, that these sons of bitches, and they did, they cared. They cared what people were saying about them on social media. I'll never forget, I had Fauci on my show. And I said, hey, man, point blank, do we have to worry about this thing? And he said, no, you don't have to worry about it. Phew. So I didn't worry about it. If I knew a global pandemic was coming down, I might have readjusted my plans a little bit.
Born on America's darkest day of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping America's heroes ever since. Heroes like FDNY Lieutenant Edward J. McDonough Jr., a Marine Corps veteran and lifelong public servant. After 9/11, McDonough served at Ground Zero. He later lost his life to a related cancer, leaving behind his wife Kimberly and their 5 children. Tunnel to Towers honored his sacrifice by paying off the family's mortgage. Donate $11 monthly and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org today.